This summer, I took out 3 days to visit a unique school with my family. You know, a school which is situated in 70 acres of forest and takes only 60 students in total. A school that follows Cambridge curriculum, generates its own electricity, where children, along with doing studies, also farm, live with nature, but work on laptops. And they're aware and take care of the environment around them. A school which has a waterfall and a stream running through it. And children who have built a bridge above that stream. In those 3 days I sat in classes, I spoke to children, teachers, directors and the founder Brian to understand what Sholai was all about. I also spoke to a parent from Mumbai whose child moved to Sholai 6 months ago to understand what has changed in those 6 months. I spoke to the child as well to understand what the child feels about living away from the family. I spoke to teachers, directors, young and old, to know how do they teach, what really keeps them here, far away from the main cities. And I spoke to the founder Brian, who opened the school 40 years ago and refuses to increase the strength of the school despite having numerous offers to do so. You know what really drives him to choose a small school over money? Let us together understand what Sholai School is all about. Come, let me show you Sholai. Why did you come to Sholai?
To be in nature, it's also way easier for me to understand when I'm with my friends and when I'm in the outdoors and all.
So did you have friends in Bombay?
Yeah, many.
So then you were with friends there also?
Yeah, but it wasn't the same there. There's so much pollution, buildings and everything.
What do you like about Sholai?
I like farming and working in vehicles and then wood. So in other schools, it's classroom. So over here, they teach us so many different things.
But do you also learn mathematics?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We have a class.
You have a class?
Yeah.
And science?
Science also.
Yeah?
Biology and chemistry.
You're learning that also?
Yeah.
But you're learning farming also?
Farming also. And more different physical activities.
More physical activities. Before Sholai, where were you?
In a school with beating.
With beating? You were beaten in that school?
Yeah, for handwriting.
For handwriting? So do you worry about handwriting here?
Not that much.
Not that much. Less than before. Does anybody beat you here?
No.
No? And you were telling me that in your earlier school you used to fight and you no longer fight here.
No, yeah. When I fight there, I'll be like breaking their mouth or breaking their teeth. Here, I don't mostly fight.
Yeah. You used to feel angry earlier.
Yeah, so angry, so annoyed, so frustrated.
Not here.
Not here.
Oh, why do you think that is?
No, I don't get into a fight. They bully me, come on, they bully me. In the school, they don't.
How did you realize that you were not stubborn anymore?
Because I was like sharing and everything, but also like I was there when I was there I shared, but like while I was there, you know, every day I have to tell the menu to my parents. So when I tell the menu only, they cook it. So
Oh, they made what you wanted to eat.
But here a lot of people eat, not only me. So everyone should consider their choices also. So like I'm not stubborn anymore because of these reasons.
But when you go back home, will you be stubborn?
No.
No, why not?
I'll ask my parents what they want. I'll ask my sister, then I'll choose.
That is so beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is all homework fun here?
Yeah.
Is there homework in Sholai?
Yeah, there are some homeworks.
There's some homework. You enjoy doing them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them.
Most of them. And the ones you don't like, what do you do about them?
I'll still finish them.
Still finish them.
Yeah.
Why? Nobody's forcing you.
No, they won't.
Is anybody forcing you to finish them?
No.
Then why do you finish them?
Like, so here we have one teacher, he says like, we give you freedom, don't take advantage on them. So like before coming to Sholai, I was like, okay, they are instructing me to do this, so I should do this. I don't know what am I supposed to do or what am I thinking to do. But after coming here, I'm not depending on anyone. And most of the time, I'm not depending on anyone, I'm being independent. Yeah.
That is what you have learned.
Like, don't always depend on anyone. Like, sometimes they'll be there, sometimes they may go.
So you think you can take care of yourself now?
Yeah.
1 year ago, you did not feel you could take care of yourself. Now you can take care of yourself. Isn't 11 too early to take care of yourself?
I'll try.
You'll try.
Yeah.
That is very beautiful.
Okay.
What class are you in?
I'm in A level,
You're in A level. What is A level?
+1, +2.
+1, +2. And what are you studying?
I'm doing computer science, physics, chemistry, math, and English.
And what do you want to do after your A levels?
I want to do BTech in AI and data science.
In AI and data science.
Yeah, that's something I'm interested in.
Okay. And where do you want to do it from?
College,
Yeah, which college?
VIT,
VIT?
Veller Institute of
You
Technology.
don't want to go to IIT?
No.
Why?
I mean, to get into IIT, you have to crack JEE, which is very intense. And most of the time, it's just luck. It's not even your mark or percentage. There'll be like 100 people getting 99%, but their rank will be different. So it's mostly luck. I don't want to take that risk.
My daughter said to me, she said, Dad, there are so many different kinds of birds here. There are no pigeons and crows. You know, in cities, you only find pigeons and crows.
That's another plus point, because if you look at Sholai School on Google Earth, you can see there's a lot of tree density. This place is filled with trees, but all the other land surrounding it, they're just barren, almost barren. There are literally no trees. So like the Sholai is like this home for all the birds and animals, because in summers, the people here, the villagers, they burn hills. So all the animals, they just run into Sholai School for shelter. So I think that's what I've even written this on my essay to get into here. Like, this place is actually genuinely concerned about nature. Everybody else is like on Earth Day or Environment Day, they just get some
One day in a year.
they just get some plastic bottles, put some plants in there, and that's it. Earth Day, they'll take pictures and that's it. But here we are doing it every single day, 24/7.
Like, what do you think is different in Sholai about teaching than other schools?
We also get to spend a lot of time outside classes with the children, which I think is a very important thing to do, because when you're just interacting with the child in the class, there's not much that you learn about the person, the children as individuals. But I really enjoy playing games with the children, doing different activities. So, for example, like hanging out in the girls' hostel, spending some, time with them playing Pictionary or any board games.
But doesn't that make teaching difficult? A teacher has to be respected and everything.
That's the thing. I think over a period of time. So when I became a teacher after completing my A levels, it was a little tough, because I just moved from being a student to a teacher, and my juniors were there as my students. So to find a balance between being a friend and being something a little
Someone they can learn
less
from.
casual, it took time. But I think as of now, I think I have that balance. Yeah, at least. I mean, that's what I feel. So yeah, when we spend a lot of this time, we learn about the child and what the child is going through. So if the child comes to my class without doing their homework, I'll know exactly why that person has not done it. Most times. There are times when I don't know also. So I'm not going to treat everybody the same. I'm not going to be like, you didn't do it, why didn't you do it? I do question, but if I know the reason behind why a child is struggling or why somebody is doing well, I try to not treat them all the same.
So you think
Yeah.
like teachers in Sholai are more emotionally attuned to the child? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I think so. Like we know them a little bit more than just as students. We get to know about their family, how they were brought up, the difficult things that they face, because in casual conversations they spill out things like this, and then we are also giving them that space for them to vent out to adults, and hopefully and us not react all the time.
A friend of mine, she sent me a WhatsApp about Sholai. Why didn't you explore this? So that's the time I took interest. I came and explored the place, and I have no regrets.
And before this, you were principal of?
Principal of a school in Bangalore. It was a traditional school.
Okay.
It's a good school, but it is like a factory model, so to say.
And when your friend sent you this WhatsApp, so then what did you do? You came visiting?
I came visiting.
Okay.
I came visiting. I remember Mr. Veera also being there. Then spent some time here. And then I thought, okay, this should be the right place for me.
You seem very happy here.
Yes.
And you said children here feel confident
Yes.
of what they know and what they don't know.
Yes. If they don't know anything, they say, Anna, we don't know. Whereas in another school, it's bad to say, wrong to say, I don't know. How can you say you don't know? Those kind of questions will come. Here they are very cool about it. Not knowing, they don't look at it as something bad. They're willing to explore at any level. Sometimes, I also get stuck. So I ask them, is there any other way, approach to this? And I also learn from them. So there's no inhibition on my part also to ask them.
But that is so interesting, right? Despite being in a traditional school for so long, you still
Yes.
retain that curiosity, and
Yes, yes.
I think that's very, very
Yes.
cool for you to have.
Yes.
What do you teach here?
I teach economics and art and yoga.
Economics and art and yoga.
Yeah.
So what grade do you teach economics for?
Economics, so my economics classes are more like a tutor. I wouldn't call myself a teacher. I teach for IGCSE and the A levels.
Okay.
So I help them prepare for their exams. And for art and yoga, it's for the younger kids. It's for woodpeckers and hornbills and the primaries.
What is this woodpeckers and hornbills?
So here we have vertical grouping. And,
What does that mean? Vertical grouping?
So every child is assessed.
Oh, the classes are not like 5th, 6th, 7th. They are like
Yeah, they're like more like
5th, 6th.
each child is very like they're not generalized like 5th, 6th, 7th. So like a 12-year-old you might find them in woodpecker, whereas a 10-year-old might be in hornbills. So it's generally a progression from primary to woodpeckers to hornbills and then to IG, where they start preparing for the exams. So sometimes also, for example, if a child is not coping well in hornbills, we move them to woodpeckers, but it's not like promotion or depromoting.
Just what would suit the child better.
Yeah, what would suit the child better.
So different children in Sholai can learn at different pace.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. If you look at the conventional education, children are literally just put into classrooms. Half of them, I don't know if their doubts are even solved because the teacher has to go and finish this and get on with class. Whereas here we individually give them that space to process things in their head and see if they've understood something, because when you look at the fundamentals, that's where their curiosity opens. So that's if they haven't learned the fundamentals, later in the stages they're just in a blank state of mind. Like they're not understanding other topics because they've missed out something back
So
then.
the idea is not to go on building if the base is weak.
Yeah.
The idea is to ensure the base is strong.
Yeah. So what I do is I try and give them like real life examples, even with math, like why we measure some things, why we measure things, or why even we have to measure speed, why do we have to know about time and all of the other things, and like try and put real life situation into my classes. So I would ask questions like, how far is it from here to Kodaikanal? You put it on a map, it's scaled down because we cannot draw a huge map that's 18 kilometers long. It's scaled down for a reason, for us to see it. Things like that. And I would say, how long would it take from here to there? And giving them real life examples. Yeah.
How do you engage with children then? Like,
So with the younger kids, so I have this group of primary students, like they're all 6, 7, 5 years old.
okay.
And with them I take science and English. And with science, I've been teaching life cycle of different animals. So I was teaching about life cycle of frogs. And I got this idea that why not just show them the life cycle of a frog.
Okay.
So they were learning to write only then. So I made them draw the diagram and everything. And then we went frog hunting, tadpole hunting. So to collect them.
Okay,
So in the Vaikas, if you actually see where there is stagnant water, you actually find a lot of tadpoles.
Okay.
So everybody got a container each. They all grabbed a couple of tadpoles, put them in water, and they took it to their houses. And then 2 weeks later, 2 of my students, they came and they're like, Akka, they became froglets. So they had like tiny froglets. Yes. So small frogs. And then they're happy. We are trying to give them this food, but it's not working. They like leaf, they like algae and fungus. So we're trying to feed them like this. And then I think, they've all become pretty big right now. So I try to show them the practical aspect of the studying, not just what's written on the board. So it kind of helps them understand, and it's nice. It's that way. So then I try to explain how insects have 6 legs. So they go
All
around.
insects have 6 legs?
Yes, all insects have 6
Okay.
legs.
So I'm not an insect, that's
No,
for sure.
You're a mammal. Yes. Yeah, so we went looking for ants and other insects that have 6 legs, but then how is it different from a spider? So I was trying to explain
Spider
to
is
them.
not an insect?
Spider is an arthropod, an animal that has an exoskeleton, but it's a arachnid. It's not an insect.
What are you talking about? What are all these things? My teacher never taught me. I should have been taught this in school. So are there any kids from Sholai, because now you've seen it over the last 20 years, who have done regular jobs?
Yes, they've gone. Yeah, they've gone into IT sector and all those things. But they keep coming back, and they are more kind of serious human beings. That's what I found. It's not that they've gone and see. It's not that we want our students to become organic farmers or completely into eco-friendly projects. Not necessarily. So, but they've become serious human beings. So I know some students, those who are many of them, they into.
What do you mean by serious human beings? We don't want serious human beings.
Yeah, they don't run into the rat race or just simply making money and then.
You mean reflective, contemplative?
Yes.
They're not running in the.
That's true.
Running the race. What is the one thing that we could change in the education system, which you think could have a profound impact?
The schools have made children hate reading, hate writing, and hate studying from kindergarten onwards. So that's why when students come, when they become independent human beings by after 18, when they come to universities, they don't bother to read and write because they hate it. So therefore, they don't know what to do. They end up into drugs and all those stuff. So if a school can be a fantastic and happy place where kids are not forced, but naturally take up reading and writing, that will transform our universities, it will transform our workforce in India. So that's I'm a big critic of our education system. So therefore I always keep on trying to innovate how we can make education a happy job.
And then I had heard of this Sholai school. I had known of this school for some time. When I traveled to Kodaikanal, I had heard of the school. So we thought of giving it a try. The good part about it is the school is not in a hurry to take on students. So there is a concept of trial month, which is not there in many schools. So we sent Eva for a month. And we, at the end of the month, asked her how did she feel about it. She was very excited and happy. So few things that mattered to me was she would often complain that the maths teacher does not smile when she smiles back in Bombay. Or says good morning and smiles back. There is a good morning but no smile. Here she was happy learning subjects which she thought were boring. Here she was
the subjects she thought in Bombay were boring. She was happy to learn them
here because it's just the relationship between the teacher and the student was like pals. They were such pally, and that actually made a lot of difference. Also, she became quite independent in that 1 month that I observed the changes in her. I went through her journal to see, things that she has done. She made some very good friends. She was wanting to come back. So the next year we decided that, that she really wants to do it, and it's a good thing for us. So even though it will take us little time to adjust.
Harder for you than for her?
It was definitely harder for us, for more than me, to her mother as well, and to live without her, being used to being, the fun in the house, and then suddenly the quiet, it's called as the empty nest syndrome.
Yeah.
People go through it when their children get married. We kind of preponed it for ourselves. We bought it upon ourselves maybe in a few years earlier.
Many years earlier.
Many years earlier. So, but I'm glad we did it. I'm very happy. She's very happy.
But you keep visiting here, like you're here
Yes,
today.
so yes, the other thing about small schools and schools that require, the school is basically you can say it's a unit for the entire world or the society. It's just like a family is a unit, so it's a social unit. School is not complete with just teachers and students, and until the parents are involved. And by being involved doesn't mean just paying fees. Being involved doesn't mean that caring for your students' progress. Being involved to me also means that you are able to contribute to the school ecosystem and make a difference. So I have a relationship with all the other children in the school as an uncle or an anna, whatever they call me. I have a relationship with all the teachers. I have a relationship with this land, because this school, which is spread across in 70 acres, is like I said, is a microcosm of all the people, the plants, the animals, and everyone living here. So I like to be involved with the school, with all the activities that happen in the school.
Most schools in the city would tell the parent not to get involved, right? That let us run the school. We know how to run a school.
Yes.
You don't please tell us, right?
Yes, of
but in
course.
this case, parents can get involved. Parents can visit.
Oh yes, parents can get involved in a great way. It depends on how much time,
and energy you want to
volunteer with. Like you could generally just, when you know the child, you could recommend them books. You could recommend their subjects. You could also be a kind of a counselor, because to your own child you are a parent, but to someone else's child you are just an uncle who's friendly or an aunt who's friendly. And maybe they open up to their personal problems. Sometimes they open up to their personal secrets. They're always looking out for someone who can guide them. So it's better to have more, people like this involved in schools.
So now that your daughter has been here for a few months, what difference do you see in her?
I see that her sense of self and her sense of independence is now really as good as an adult can have. There was an incident I remember, it's worth sharing. She's the only child, so she would always say, when she started realizing life and death, what would happen when you are no more? And I'm scared of the thought that you would one day die and I would be all alone. And towards the end of this term, I asked her, what is the biggest thing that you learned in this year? And she said to me that, I had said this, but I can very well live without you.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Your motive is accomplished.
Yes, my motive is in a way accomplished.
When a student graduates from Sholai, what certification do they get?
So they get Cambridge A level. Or if they feel that's too much for them, they also have option to pursue an NIOS. So it depends on their interest and their pace. So they get their certification from Cambridge or
So Sholai is affiliated with
Cambridge and the NIOS. We are the first 500 schools to get affiliation from Cambridge. 2015 we got our affiliation from Cambridge. From then we are part of the Cambridge. And also we are from 98 we are part of NIOS. So this is one school which NIOS have different curriculum. So we are an exam center for their biogas and green energy course. People in South, if they are searching for, this is the only campus they have courses on green energy. Yeah.
Okay. We're sitting here in front of a classroom block behind which there are many books. I am in Kodaikanal in a 70-acre forest with an 80-year-old man who claims to be the founder of the school called Sholai.
Well,
This claim has been substantiated by his being here for 40 years. That is proof enough. We will take him at face value. But he found this place after traveling for 3,000 kilometers across southern India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, after teaching at Brockwood in UK. When Krishnamurti was alive and he was there.
For 14 years.
For 14 years. And he felt the desire to start a school, which brought him here.
Well, I did always had when I was young, the idea of going to a so-called third world country. I went to Africa. I was into Africa for 2 years at the age of 19, 20, 21.
We are glad that Africa didn't get hold of him and he came to India. When I live in Bombay, and what I find really interesting is that in Bombay, in a small building, we're trying to cram up more and more students. And here is a school which has 70 acres of land and which claims we will not take more than 60 students. And I somehow find that beautiful. Why did you start this school? Why start another school? There's so many schools in this world, right?
I started school because I was with Krishnamurti for 14 years.
Teaching?
Yes, sometimes teaching, sometimes doing, learning, but I was also doing maintenance, repair work, and also we were concerned with biogas, those kind of things, a new approach to environmental concerns, having environmental concerns.
And then you left the field of the master to come to India, Nepal, Sri Lanka and went about. But why start a school?
Because I was already very clear that that's what was necessary, totally clear. In the world. And generally I didn't have a problem with young people. Yes, I enjoyed their company. So that was it.
When 1989 Sholai was started.
Correct.
Are there assessments at Sholai of
assessments?
How does a parent know what my child is doing or the child doing well?
Yes. So I came up with the concept. We look at 3 aspects of the child's education. The emotional education, the relevant intellectual education, and the physical health education. When you think about it, as a parent, that's what you would be concerned about. You might put very high on the ladder that he should pass all his exams and get high grades and all that. But you would admit that these are the important things. That he should have a relevant relevant intellectual education.
So what you're saying is that in the year-end assessment, there is the emotional development of the child.
It's twice a year.
Twice a year?
Twice.
And end of every semester then?
Yes.
And these reports are written by students themselves or the teachers write it?
The student writes. Normally, especially with the young ones, it'll be about that much. Then the teacher will come along and write a little more. And it works like
beautifully. But what about parents asking, did they learn algebra or not? Or did they learn grammar? Or did they learn biology?
You don't need to learn grammar. You just need to enjoy reading.
But I'm saying that parents want their kids to do well in life, earn money. What about that?
Well, the brain of Britain couldn't get a job. Answer number 1. Answer number 2. Do you think you had a fairly good emotional upbringing?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Now, do you think you'd have any trouble getting a job?
No.
Right. So the emotional upbringing is what you see, and the other issue is like if you had a very disciplinarian father, and what I find is most of my friends, Indian friends, they have. And that gives them a certain kind of lack of confidence. When you think of the parents, you think of the child. And the child went to Sholai school. And then, well, how did he get on? Yeah, I didn't get very good exam results. Oh my God. Really? And if the parents are emotionally neurotic, the child will pick it up. The child will also, that child isn't bad with this. I'm going to go out and get a job. I don't care about it. It's not a key way to get a job, to pass exam. I think if a person has some kind of emotional maturity, he has a very good chance of getting a job. And if he has oodles of emotional maturity, people will recognize this is a very mature, serious young man or young woman.
And that is what Sholai
gives to children.
What should a parent not expect from Sholai?
Success. Okay. Yeah. Do you want your daughter to be a success? Have you heard of Arsene Hydri? He was a businessman. He was working in various companies. And his daughter was a Hydri. I can't remember her first name. But she became a film star. If a person becomes successful, yes.
But wanting your child to be successful is a problem.
Yes, that's it. This is another interesting thing. I'll just throw this in some later. Desire. All the religions, the Asian religions, right? They all talk about, desire is wrong and all that. But Krishnamurti said desire is life. Oh, abdiya. Abdiya is Tamil for, is that so? Yeah. So, I mean, you see, he wants us to think, or to start with, to think of our own lives and what are we doing with our own lives. And so, when it comes to desire, I want my child to be rich, I want my child to be a success. Yes, I think, in fact, the problem with both those things is it's a form of concentration. You know, you must be rich, young man. Like your father didn't become rich, or or your father did become rich. You must be like him.
It must be better.
It's a pressure. And it's a narrowing your perception.
And
being aware.
And what should a parent expect from Sholai when they send their child?
Intelligence.
Intelligence.
Intelligence and sensitivity.
Intelligence, sensitivity.
Yeah. But if they don't get it, don't come and bash us up. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's it? That's it.